Welcome everyone to Tuesday Tea with Elsa. We have Ari in the background here and then Ocasio on the other side. It is blindingly sunny today, so camera's a little washed out, but we're going to do Tuesday Tea anyway. We just had a change in the weather here on San Juan Island. It went from just torrential rains and flooding to this. I don't think we've seen the sun in a month, but it's bright and sunny and warm when the sun comes out, although very cold at night. And that leads me to this week's topic. Cassio. This week's topic is about preparation. You can't prepare for everything, but you try. The more prepared you are, the better everything goes. Anything and everything we do with our horses ends up being a foundation or a preparation for something else. And so it becomes very important to think about, how are we preparing for all of our future moments? I find when the sun comes out like this, I just want to sit and drink a cup of tea and soak up the vitamin D and enjoy the sun. There's a lot more being and a lot less doing when the weather gets like this. And that's the balance I want to talk about, because I think the balance between being and doing is our preparation for all of our future events. And there's no way to get it perfect. It's an art form, not a science. But as an art form, we can continue to develop our preparation for all the unknown events coming in the future. So, as you see, Ocasio and Ari and I, we're mostly in a state of being right now. Certainly I'm doing as I talk, and they're doing something as they eat hay, but there's a lot of just being here too. And the way I differentiate being and doing is the need for change. When you are being with a horse, you are accepting them exactly as they are. Wow, the sun went behind a cloud. That's kind of a relief, actually. I'm not used to the sun around here. There, it's back again. So as we spend time being together, we don't need to change anything. Everything is fine as it is. Now, certainly as they chew the food, they're changing it from long-stemmed hay into something more palatable to digest. So that's a doing action. They are changing something from one state to another. When we train horses, we usually think about doing something. We are going to desensitize them to something, or we are going to sensitize them to something. We're going to teach them a signal or a cue, or we're going to teach them to not be bothered. Those are all states of change. George, adrift in the flow. So what I talk about a lot in freedom-based training is this idea of flow and harmony. And that's the state of being, the state where we don't need to change anything. And when it comes to preparation for future events, the ability to get comfortable not needing to change anything is very important. And it's something that a lot of horse trainers struggle with. This idea that we need to constantly be changing and improving and developing. Otherwise, why would you have a horse? And there's a balance to be struck. There has to become some comfort and some practice in this moment is all right, just as it is. I don't have to change anything about this moment with Ocasio. There's nothing about what he's doing that needs changing. And when we can recognize the moments that don't need any changing, that becomes the foundation to build change onto. So the moments of being become the foundation for the moments of doing. And when we do things, we are causing change, we are causing improvement, we are causing development. And that's what most horse trainers talk about, is development, improvement, all of those things. A lot of horse trainers have started to talk about being time, spending time with doing nothing with the horses. But I think it's the relationship between the being and the doing that is the most important. And it's that connection between being and doing that we don't talk about enough. When do you change? When do you decide you've done enough being and it's time for doing? Or you've done enough doing and it's time for being? There's micro moments and there's major moments. But knowing when to change from being to doing and from doing to being is what prepares your horse the best for future circumstances that you can't predict. So how do you know that? I think the answer is in rhythm. I'm going to stop for a moment and I'm just going to let you listen to the rhythm of their chewing. The rhythm of their chewing shows a level of confidence in this moment. Rhythm is the physical attribute that goes with confidence. So both Ocasio and Ari are very confident in this moment as they're chewing their hay. And that rhythm, that consistency of being is the thing that tells us this is going well for them. Now, at some point, I'm going to have to stand up. At some point, I'm going to have to do something else. And the timing of when I take more action, when I start doing something, when I start changing something, is when there is a slight decline in the enjoyment of this moment. So this chewing, this meditation, as you said, Andrea, is the time when we soak up how it is to be with them. But it won't last forever. There's going to be a point where the rhythm starts to falter, where there's a little less confidence in this moment. And then somebody will need to do something. If I don't stand up and do something, one of them will chase the other one, or one of them will wander off to get water, or somebody's going to do something. And the art of training is about predicting those moments. How do I know when to go from doing to being, or from being to doing? And it's the art and the timing of that. I do love that sound of the chewing. That's most important. So you can see when I do my tea times here, I very often put fresh hay out behind me. The horses have hay all the time. They're always welcome to eat hay. They're never short of food. But they like it when it's fresh. They like it when, nobody's touched this hay before. And what that does is it sets them up to spend a lot of time being with me. There's not a lot of doing. There's not a lot of change happening. And it makes it very easy for me to do tea time and talk to you guys and enjoy the beingness of this moment. In order to prepare for future moments, it's about studying the rhythm of existence. Giving us some good chewing there. The rhythm shows us the confidence, and the confidence tells us how much longer we should stay in a state of being and how soon we need to change to a state of doing. If we need to change to a state of doing where we take action and we change something, we are going to change until there's a likelihood that the rhythm gets better again. When the rhythms of life are very consistent and very reliable and very steady, that's a great time to be. When things become erratic and horses start getting spooky or worried or jumpy or erratic in any of their rhythms, that's when we need to take a little bit more action. We need to be in action around the environment. Now, Ocasio just noticed something up over the hill, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but his chewing stopped and it started again, and it stopped and it started again. So this is a little hint to me that his rhythms are changing, and in an ideal world, I would start doing something a little bit more. Ari, behind me, nothing's changing in his rhythm. His rhythm's very consistent, very steady. I find generally Ari is happier in a state of being with me than Ocasio is. Ocasio wants a little bit more action, a little more interaction, a little bit more doing. Finding that balance between who your horse is and what they need, between the being and the doing, is the best thing you could possibly do to prepare them for future events that you can't predict. If they feel like you understand them and you know when to be and when to do, they're going to have the greatest level of trust in what your action or inaction might be in the future. So those are my thoughts for Tuesday Tea. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have any questions about this, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you have subjects you'd like me to talk about for future tea times, I would be happy to add them to my list. Yeah, Andrea, Ari is watching. His eyes are very aware. Even though he's eating hay and he's got good rhythm, he's paying attention to me. He's waiting for the fact that somebody's going to have to do something at some point. Is it going to be him or is it going to be me? One of us is going to have to change from being to doing. And he's very aware. So I'm going to say goodbye to all of you guys, take another couple of sips of tea, and then start doing more things around my horses until I can find those perfect moments of being in this glorious sunshine we have today. Thank you for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you for tea next week.